Okay, afternoon. Welcome to the 1:30 meeting. Okay. Sean, do you mind if I take care of this? I need to take care of a little bit of business and it'll be very quick. I've heard from our attorneys. I'm talking opioid settlement monies. We have 3 new ones that are coming in, produce out some, and I think Kathy has talked about each one. Generic manufacturing settlement, and then a document that applies to all settlements. Allocation agreement 4 is what that one's called. So there's 3 of them: produce settlement, manufacturer settlement, allocation agreement 4. And they just, our attorney needs it on record that we're okay proceeding with those.
Is the question of proceeding to accept the money? Is that what
Accept
that
the
is?
money, yes.
Okay, yes, I'm good with it.
And I don't know a dollar figure on any of these yet, but
And on those settlements, there's no strings attached to that money, right? It's just we use.
no, yeah. Well, you have to use it.
The parameter.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are some
yeah,
strings,
yeah,
guidelines, if you
Yeah.
will.
yeah.
I'm good with that.
So we all okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, that should. And I'm the signer on all 3?
Yep.
Okay. Will that take care of David? Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Afternoon, Commissioner. Sean Riley, Public Works. So it's the time of year again for sheriff vehicles. Every year we come to the board a little bit ahead of the budget cycle as the order window for these vehicles opens up in August. And usually there's a quick turnaround. It's either closes quickly or has a allocation. We want to make sure we get allocated our vehicles. So we have 2 vehicles we'd like to replace this year. Both of these are over 90,000 miles. One is, just for the record, 76733, which is a K9 F-150 from 2020. It has approximately 92,500 miles on it. The second one is 76693, which is a 2018 Tahoe, and it has approximately 90,500 miles on it. By the time these vehicles are acquired, upfit, and put into service, it's usually about this time of year. So we'll see about another 20,000 miles at least on these vehicles based on their current use patterns. And these are asking for both Tahoes for replacements on these. The F-150 sounds like it'll be a spare K9 vehicle. And then the Tahoe would be used for another purpose of some sort. And these would be asking for a budget of $105,000 on each one of these. The vehicle price of approximately $66,000, and then upfit of that after.
We set money aside for replacement on these, so it's.
Yep, every year the sheriff's office pays into motor pool to have
Yeah.
reserves available for these.
Yeah.
So the F-150 is going in as a spare vehicle that doesn't exist right now. It's a new position or a new vehicle.
Yeah, Jordan Spencer, Chief Deputy of the Sheriff's Office. So our goal would be to actually add a 6th spare. Right now we're allotted for 5 spares, and our goal would be to add a 6th spare, and that vehicle that we're replacing, that K9 vehicle, would be our 6th spare vehicle. We can use that for obviously the K9 units when their vehicles due for service or whatever, but also for our woods patrol and our PP&L shifts for the non-patrol, like the detectives, when they're working those shifts or things like that, they have another spare vehicle. One of the reasons that we're adding or would like to add a spare to our fleet is currently we have 3 of our 5 spares that are long-term issued out because of 3 of our current vehicles. 2 of them are going to have the motor replaced, and one of them is going to have the transmission replaced. So right now, of our 5 spares, 3 of them are on long-term loan to deputies as full-time use. So adding that 5th or that 6th spare, which is we don't pay into anymore.
Correct.
It's just that annual $5,000 fee for tires or brakes, oil change, things like that.
So as Jordan said, There's not a reserve on the spare vehicles. Those just roll in as we replace them, and as time those get replaced. We do maintain an operational budget on those to make sure that repairs and maintenance are done on them, so they're available when the sheriff needs them.
So how many of those existing spares are K-9 units?
None.
What's the additional cost to make a car a K-9 unit versus just a sheriff's car?
That's a good question. Do you have that number, that figure, do you know? On what it would be for a K-9 build? You wanna yeah, go ahead.
Hi there, Sergeant Mark Johnson. I'm kind of our fleet liaison. I work with Sean and with Jason Jelm over at the motor pool for our vehicles and represent the sheriff's office. I can tell you the build cost on a patrol build is about $30,000. When you start specializing and adding like K-9 cages and specialty equipped vehicles, then that price goes up. So if we can reallocate what we already have, that ends up being more of a savings. To answer your question, as far as the exact cost, we haven't built a K-9 car since 2021. So we're still in those life cycles. And I don't have that number in front of me as to what that build cost was at the time.
Okay, if I understand this right, we're not recycling the K-9 part of this vehicle, right? We're putting a brand new K-9 unit together. Is that correct?
No, this is actually a truck that already has a K-9 cage in it. It would roll over and be used as a spare K-9 vehicle because of our narcotics K-9 handler is not using a traditional K-9 vehicle right now. His dog is near end of life as far as his working lifespan, and he's in another vehicle and he's getting by with that. So we happen to have that vehicle that we just like to keep and reallocate it as a K-9 spare.
Right,
There's no
right.
additional upfit cost.
I think I understand that, but the new unit you're gonna replace that with, is it gonna be a K-9 vehicle?
No, sir.
No.
No.
No, we have two K-9 deputies. One of them is issued right now on patrol as the K-9, one of the K-9 vehicles. The other K-9 vehicle that we have is the F-150. That
Okay.
one is not currently being used by the other K-9 handler because he has a drug sniffing dog and he's not on assigned to patrol currently. He's in a different assignment, so he uses a different vehicle. So we have that one that we're just using as a spare vehicle. So we don't have to replace anything. The two replacements that we're asking for would be patrol vehicles.
So how many K-9 units do we have?
We have two K-9 handlers and currently have two K-9 vehicles. One of them would be moved over to that spare.
But we're gonna continue to have two K-9 handlers?
Correct.
Okay. And one regularly used K-9 vehicle. Did I understand that? Because you're taking one of them as a spare now.
Correct. Yeah, because the other K-9 handler isn't right now in his assignment isn't issued a patrol vehicle, I guess, that patrol vehicle.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if you're gonna come back later and we're gonna be looking at having to get a K-9 handler, a K-9 vehicle.
Oh, no.
Okay.
The drug sniffing dog, he's pretty calm.
Yeah, he's not nearly as neurotic as
Yeah,
the apprehension.
you should bring him in again. I think the other commissioners with the new K-9 police dog, the way he was eyeing Arn, I told Arn, just stay where you're at. 'cause-
Yeah, he's pretty
But the
vicious.
other one is one of those, come up, you probably pet it, and all that type of thing. The other one was going, holy cow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be on the receiving end of that one for sure.
Leave your pain meds at home day, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it was something we discussed, I think it was maybe last year, or the year before, we changed our builders and went local with that Day Wireless contract. And one of the assumptions that we made is that we would see a lot better turnover on receiving our vehicles. Before, we were looking at 13, 16 months for us to actually from the time we purchased it, the time we actually deployed it on the road. And fortunately, this new contract with Day Wireless is, I mean, they've been building a vehicle for us in 2 or 3 weeks. And so once we've received it and they've got the parts, they've been really good. And so we're starting to catch up. And I think that's why we're able to ask for less vehicles this year than we have in the past. Last year, I think we asked for 4, and the year before that, we asked for 5. And so we're starting to recoup some of the benefits of having these turned out a little bit sooner. We don't have to wait.
I was
nearly as long.
gonna comment on that because I remember the wait times were out like a year before, so it seemed
It's
a
been
lot better.
Yeah, significant change. And if
Mhm.
there's been any issues, we can either fix the issues right there before we take hold of them, or, you know, if we notice an issue a week later, we can just run it back into the shop. They've been really good to work with, and it's local. So it's been great. It's made a huge difference.
And Jordan, do I remember right? You guys made last year or the year before, made a change from the F-150s to the Tahoes for durability purposes or traction or something like that?
There was a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is we couldn't get Tahoes and we had to get something, and the F-150s were that something. There are certainly some benefits to the F-150s in non-patrol related functions. Being able to haul some of like the bigger boat and haul some equipment, things like that. But as the patrol side goes, as far as handling and turn radius and things like that, the Tahoes have been a much more appropriate vehicle, yeah, for the patrol side of things, patrol response and pursuit driving.
And I think there was some repair type things, like the Fords were unibody, and when they got wrecked, it was super expensive, or you just had to be replaced. And the Tahoes, you have the ability to do some repair work on.
Yeah, 100% correct there. The Ford Interceptor is kind of the smaller SUV we've seen in the police space, is a unibody type vehicle, like you said. And when there's a significant damage to any of the panels, it is a significant cost to repair.
And you said we have a couple vehicles, one getting an engine replaced and another one getting a transmission replaced?
Yeah, I believe 2 with engine replacements, which
Yeah.
is one of the ones that we're replacing, and then one with a transmission.
And are those spares or are those actual
Those were
that we're using?
issued to deputies. And so they are now issued 3 of the spares that we have on hand.
And those are also going to be, my understanding is dealer warranty repairs because they're within the timeframe of the manufacturer's warranty. However, one of them that has the transmission issue, in talking with Jason, we're like customer number 1,000 or something in line to get this certain valve body part to be able to put in this transmission to make it work again. So we have a 2023 Tahoe that's been out for a couple months. And it seems like when these breakdowns happen, they seem to be major and not necessarily our fault. It's just manufacturing defects and whatnot. And you end up waiting an extended amount of time to get your vehicle back. The other 2 that have the motor issues are 2021 Tahoes. And both of them, within about the same week or a couple days of each other, ended up with some sort of lifter or valve issue that may have taken out the whole motor. So those are also over at Bud Clary waiting for kind of a final quote to see if they're going to replace the whole engine or just the top end or whatnot in that. So yeah, those were all full-time vehicles that were assigned that now we've displaced that deputy and put them in a spare. So, which is why we like to have the spares, is for those reasons.
Maybe better be looking at an electric truck or something. Tesla, here we come.
The fact that you actually get a warranty on a police vehicle, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some decent warranty on them, but it
Yeah.
does take time to get those warranties fulfilled.
I thought it'd be something like 1 day or 5 hours, whichever comes first.
Yeah, Till the back wheels leave the parking lot.
Yeah, I will say they're certainly driven hard, but they're
Yeah.
maintained well. We do a good job of maintaining, the motor pool does a really good job of maintaining the vehicles to the best of their ability. So that helps prolong them as well.
So Sonia, you need approval from us for these, even though you set the money aside for these and stuff, you need approval from us, okay?
Yeah, for us to purchase these vehicles and issue POs, we'll need some board approval on it for the value.
And will we see it as a contract on a Tuesday agenda or these are just outside of that?
Yeah, so these are purchased off state contract, so we don't have any contract language. We will probably readdress them in the budget cycle just so they come full circle there.
Okay.
And it was 105K each,
Yes, sir.
start to finish. Okay.
Since it doesn't come to Tuesday, then I'd just probably call for a motion to proceed with the purchase of these.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion to approve. Do a real quick check. See nothing. Call for a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And just so we can get on the record too, moving from 5 spares to 6 spares, so we can get that in the budget as well, if the board's okay with that.
nobody have any issues? Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
You, I was kind of joking a little bit, but if it ever works out, I think it'd be entertaining to bring your dogs over. I thought that was very interesting,
Yeah,
the
I think
time
we
that
can,
we did have.
I think we can set that up
Yeah,
anytime. In fact, we're getting our apprehension dog is changing handlers. We had a promotion to the sergeant, so that the old handler is moving to a sergeant position. And so we're getting a new deputy as a same dog,
Yeah.
but just a new handler. So we can certainly bring both of the canines in.
Yeah,
Be-
plan some
be fun to see.
paraphernalia on Bailey or something.
I think we were introduced to your police one when he or she was brand new. I think he was brand new, and boy, he was wound tight, so.
He still is. Yeah, we just need a volunteer to wear the bite sleeve.
Why?
and we'll be-
Like the dunk tank.
Well, Commissioner Farrell has a sling, so I think he's out. He's already damaged.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Savannah Clement with Public Works. Just to, and Sean mentioned it, but just to kind of close the loop, the reason why we had to come kind of off cycle for those vehicles is because we're buying them ahead of the approved budget year. So that's kind of just so you guys know, that's why we come kind of off cycle. And the reason they don't come to a Tuesday is because we are purchasing them off state contract. So just some background, better understanding. I have my weekly milling update. I don't have a ton to report other than I'm going to be throwing some dates to you guys. And the first date is court at the admin building here in this room will start Friday, September 5th. So we're working through some of the quirks in that. I think the biggest challenge, at least in this room, will just be the tables and placement. So you guys shouldn't be disrupted at all as far as meetings go. The tables will be moved back before, of course, before a Tuesday. So that's all I'm planning right now. The second date I'd like to give you is Wednesday, September 17th. I call that like the loud construction start date. And so construction's occurring right now. That's kind of it's not in your face. It's occurring. We're doing some roof work, mobilization still. It's nothing that you're really seeing and hearing, but we will start seeing and hearing it that day. I hope to, well, I don't hope to, I know we'll be getting 3-week look aheads from Millig. And so what I'll be doing is distributing those to the board and to staff at the Hall of Justice. Just trying to keep everybody on the same page. The first 2 departments will start moving here in the next few weeks, and the first one's DEM. And they'll be moving up to the 2nd floor. And the second group is our longest move, and that's the clerk's office, Stacy and her team. And that will be around that September 15th date before that loud construction starts. So yeah, just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that all of that is happening and it's coming up very soon. All right, any questions about Millig project? Okay, I'll move on to the facade. I gave the board an update that we had our proposal signed, and that was last week or the week before. I brought up some copies with me just so that you guys would be in the loop as far as what we were doing on that. We actually have a kickoff meeting today, right now. I couldn't go because I'm here, but so it is starting and we're gearing up on trying to determine the scope of the project itself and what we're dealing with. So I have these to hand out to you guys just for light reading material if you have any questions on the facade fix. And that's all I have on that. If you have any other questions after reading this, please let me know. It is an active contract with Edda. They're our current architect firm. So if we have changes or suggestions for change, we can do that. Any questions on the facade? Okay. I'll move right along to Public Works. I'll have Susan kick off our project updates. We have a lot of projects going on, so I hope to not take up too much time, but I thought it'd be good to give you guys updates. I'm going to pass these out and then I'll come back and do some of my smaller ones when you're done. Okay.
Good afternoon, Susan Eugenius. Y'all are in trouble. They told me to fill the time until Lexington shows up. So I may just start really going off on what weird tangents. So we thought we'd give you a little update on where we are in our summer construction. So our overlay program done. You saw that final change order earlier today. A chip seal is also finished. We were very excited. We were done in July. So we were done early this year, which was our goal with starting earlier. And that the benefit of getting that done is to the striping program and for our crews themselves so that we aren't at the end of August scrambling to have crews so they can actually take some time off in the summer to enjoy with their families also. So going along with that, we have our striping program. So our striping is out there. They have done 2 of the complete areas. So both Kelso and Kalama area are finished. They are working on, oh, now I'm blanking on which area they're in, but they're either in Castle Rock or Longview area. And so we're still on schedule getting those done. So we're moving right along. I haven't heard many complaints. This year, Savannah's knocking on wood for me over here. This year, so last year we got some complaints about the finished product. This year, driving around, the finished product the lines look crisper and much more defined. So we're happy with the quality that we're getting this year. So we'll see what it looks like when we're really driving in the dark and rain, but so far it's looking better. I can tell the difference on some of the roads down in the Kelso area, just driving in the daylight in the early mornings. So we're happy about that.
Is it the same firm, Susan?
This is a different firm
This is
this
a
year.
different one that won the bid this year?
Yes.
Okay.
We were really concerned at the beginning because they were moving at a slower pace. And so they are going faster than they were at the beginning, but the slower pace seems to be giving us a better product. Last year, we did not seem to have, excuse me, in the stripes, it's not just paint, there's glass beads in it, which is what gives it its reflection. And last year, there did not seem to be any beads in it. And this year, we seem to be hitting a better balance.
The amount of time that they're taking. So initially it was a concern and we're finding that it allows the paint to dry because of the time taken. And we're having, again, less claims of spray on vehicles because of that. So I guess unintended consequences, but it was something that we were in favor of. So that worked out as well as an unintended thing.
So then the other 2 big projects that are currently under construction is the Italian Creek culvert replacement. So they have finished one. So the old culvert's out. They finished one side. They're backfilling that side, then starting to fill so they can move the traffic over, remove the bypass, the existing road, and finish up the culvert. We are still on schedule for an October finish, be up and out of the water. The other big culvert project is the Garlock Road project. They have bypassed the stream. All the piles are in. The pile caps are poured for the main foundation. They are starting to work on doing the wing wall pile caps. The structure itself, I don't know if you recall, we ordered this pipe arch separately. It is on site. So once they finish up these pile caps, they'll start installing the culvert. They are also on schedule to be up and out of that water by the end of the work window in October, with the road reopened by middle of October. So Italian Creek was a FEMA emergency project funded, and the Garlock is a fish barrier removal board project. Next week, we will see mobilization on South Cloverdale. You look like you have a question, sorry.
I do on Garlock. The gentleman that had the well,
Yes,
remember he talked about it, has he had any problems with that? He was concerned he had a well that wasn't dug deep and he was worried when, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was worried when we moved that creek or we did something that creek that he would dry up is what his concern was.
So his concern of drying up has not occurred.
So he has
He,
water.
he
Okay.
has water, but he is not 100% happy with his water. It's because
He feels like
he,
it's
he feels
muddy
like
or
it's
something.
muddy, yes,
Okay.
is what he's feeling. So we have been working with him on that. We were out earlier this week, actually looking at the water as it comes out. I've reviewed the boring logs and I believe the stratum that his well is in is part of the issue and that it may have already been this color prior to the project.
Okay.
So, yes, that is potentially something we will be talking about again.
Okay, thanks.
They did, in case you hear about it, during the rain a few weeks ago, 2 weekends ago, we had that rain. The contractor didn't have their bypass in quite right. So when the high water came, it went around the side and flooded the work area. So there was quite a bit of water in the work area that they had to remove and make sure there were no fish in the area. So that also did occur. But they are working on making sure that does not occur again the next time we have rain. So next week, yeah.
But on the gentleman's well, would he have to just put in a filter to solve his problem, or does he need to go deeper well? Based on what you know right now.
So based on what I know, he could filter it out. Based on what I also know, that if he went in for a new well approval, this well would not be approved. His well is 9 feet deep.
9?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
knew it was very shallow. Yeah.
How close to the creek is it?
He's about 30 feet from the creek, maybe 40. High water, he's closer, but in normal flow, he's probably 30 or 40 feet from the creek.
So he just drove a sand point in.
Yes.
I can dig a hole 9 feet deep.
Yeah, probably way back
Probably
in the
did.
day. Yeah.
So, yes, that is why this well is an issue. It is not not what any of the, what current wells are built to. So
Great, thank you.
you're welcome. So our exciting project, South Cloverdale, you will see them out mobilizing next week, getting the traffic control set up and starting clearing and grubbing. He does have a plan. None of you were physically on the board when it happened, but he does have a plan that he is going to work a section and get the base layer of asphalt down and not leave it open over the winter, unlike some other experiences that we've had. So he does have a plan. We're going to do sections, then we'll probably do a suspension for the 2 large culverts that are left, and he'll be back out in June. But he is trying to get the beginning and the end section done and then come back next year and do the middle. Just because those areas are be workable in the fall and then get them paved before the asphalt plant closes down for the winter. So he does have a very logical plan. So we're hoping, we're looking forward to this project and feel like it's going to be a good one. So those are the road projects. Oh, besides I forgot. Guardrail, the new addition guardrail, they are starting not next week, but the following week. And we're working with the delineator to do a schedule. Our as needed guardrail, we did a whole bunch in the spring. As we're coming to the end, sometime in October, we'll get him another list to go and add what the new damage is. So you will probably see a change order for that for additional items. So those are the road ones that are out there, and then Allender will be going out very soon.
Did we talk about going after the people who hit those guardrails, their insurance companies, to replace them?
So we do, when the accident is reported and when they have insurance, we do bill them at the rate that is included in our unit price contract. What percentage do you think success we have? 50% maybe? Maybe 50% actually getting our money back. But we do pursue when there is a reported accident, when we can reach out to get insurance money. A lot of people hit them and drive off.
It's a little frustrating because that is our biggest write-off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna switch to water sewer, I'll let you go first with the meters.
So just wanted to report project status for the water meter replacement project. And of course, we're focusing heavily in Riderwood because that's the majority of our dense meters. We're finding that there's some meters that are 30 years old that we're replacing that have aged and likely aren't reporting accurately. And so part of this component of the replacement was also providing a portal for the users to access so they could see real-time data on what their usage was. And so I kind of preface the board with that saying, someone who's had a 30-year-old meter, maybe showing 1 or 2 units a month may now be showing, we're seeing, maybe double that. 2, 3, 4 units a month. And that could be one of these unintended consequences of replacing these meters for more accuracy and water consumption efficiency that people might be not happy about because their bills are now going up. I don't think that'll be a lot of people, but it will be a few. So I anticipate hearing from them. We will also be announcing our portal application to water sewer customers next month, so that they'll be able to log in, set up an account and be able to see how much they're using, maybe when their high points are or low points, or maybe catching those leaks a lot sooner. So, yeah, but that's the status so far. We have a third installed, which equates to about 380 meters out of about 1,250-ish total. So third-ish of the way there. So we're getting it done.
Are the ones we have in, are they doing what we expected?
Yeah, so far, yes. When we first started the install project, we did have a few hiccups, if I recall. But because we were just starting the project, the retailer that we went with was like on site and had it fixed and addressed. And after that, and it escapes me what the problem was. But it was fixable and they were able to come in and help us out, and moving forward, we haven't had that problem. I just can't remember what that problem was, but insignificant enough not to remember, I guess. So we've been moving along pretty well with that.
We're able to access them remotely and
Yes.
do everything that
Yep.
told us.
So far that's been working. I hate to just say, yes, it's all great. I would really want this portal application up and running to make sure that we're able to run both. So the mechanics of those are working well. We're able to do the uploads, but we haven't been able to see the customer facing side of it, or have we been able to really upload into our system yet? And so that's kind of what the next big, I think, hurdle and phase will be.
Okay.
What's the distance on the remote read capability?
Oh, man. I can find out. I don't know. It's a drive-by. So it's within, I would imagine 100 feet, but I don't know for sure.
So
But I
we
can
can
find
sit
out.
in the car and
Yes.
drive by and read it?
Correct. And that's what we'll be doing. And I think the original question was like, oh, well, they'll only be updated anytime you drive by. Well, the water sewer crew is scheduling where they are pretty much driving by almost every day between the 5 water sewer utilities guys. So to make sure that we're getting really updated reads, but it is a drive-by. I just don't know like the feet, like how many
Okay.
feet away, but I can find that out.
So our other exciting water sewer projects, I know water sewer is glamorous. We have the Tootle pressure zone pumps, pump station project. So the section by Tower Road is completely in finished areas restored. The other area on that project by Juanita, they have made the connection in. They are currently installing the pump station. So we're going to move into the testing phase. So we're excited. That one's almost completely tied up. The Tootle wastewater treatment plant, they came out at the beginning of August and started, and they've hit it hard. They are about 2 weeks away from completion, except for the generator set, which we knew was going to take a while. So we're going to give them substantial completion for the first half of the project while we wait for the generator to show up sometime this winter. Then they'll come back install that and that project will be complete. So we're making good progress on the ones that are out there.
And these last three water sewer projects were all ARPA funded projects. So, you know, the ratepayers aren't seeing a rate increase because of these large capital projects. So, one last project.
Might be because of more updated equipment and of course they're District 3. so.
Oh, yeah, all of them are conveniently enough. Just one last project to wrap up, the parking lot project. Mike Moss had sent out an email updating all Cowlitz users just on the progress. Sounds like they were hoping to wrap up on that this weekend with getting everything else complete. Last weekend, they were out doing some grinding and actually laying some of the conduit for the new lighting that we'll be adding. So, however, right before this meeting, I was told that we might want to delay the striping because it does, I don't want to play engineer, I get in trouble. Why?
So when you put your stripe down too soon after the asphalt goes down, it's too hot. So the paint tends to, it decreases the life of the paint because it's still hot. It causes the stripes to, the asphalt's off gassing and it helps burn up those VOCs in the paint. So it won't last as long if you paint, especially if you paint, you pave on Friday and you stripe on Sunday. If you went out there, and most people don't believe it, if you went out there on Sunday, you could feel that it was still warm. Of course, this time of the year, the asphalt is warm, but it would be warmer than the surrounding asphalt.
So we'll have to reevaluate that.
And are we doing this right down here too, where they park? Yeah,
Down in the west side?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
And I know a piece of Third Avenue with the city of Kelso, which was great because we were
I was just
concerned.
watching somebody pull in and it looked pretty rough and I
It
thought I
is.
recall that we were talking about that too. Okay.
I would, and then also we're adding handicap parking also up above by the ramp area, which I think is a much better addition than just regular parking. So that was my last update. The last item on here is the Lexington Flood Zone Control District presentation. I actually asked them if they would be interested in coming and talking to the board. I don't think that they have done so even with the previous board. You know, with being a special district that the county helps manage, I thought it was important to give some insight to the board and kind of develop a relationship or have the ability for you guys to communicate if you had questions. Their levy is, you know, is collected as a tax during tax season. So I think that's also important to have a good understanding. You're also going to see a lot of the special districts budgets coming up because they have a little bit quicker turnaround than we do. So that was the intent. It was really just to have some networking opportunity and give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions and have a better understanding. Aside from that, I know that they were told 2:30. So if you guys had any other items or we could recess with whatever you guys would like.
That'd be good.
We can recess till 2:30. Okay, we'll come back out of recess and move into presentation on the Lexington Flood Control Zone District.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come up here and talk to you guys, and I appreciate the board being able to get together and talk about anything you guys would like to ask questions on. I am just a diking manager, just as your staff does for you. I serve at the pleasure of my board, so we have a lot of stuff going on in Lexington, but it's lots of fun. So my plan was just to give a quick presentation on what Lexington Flood Control Zone District is, basically a diking district, and answer any questions. So if you have any along the way, just please hit me up. First, the picture on front is our #1 pump station, McCorkle Creek pump station. It sits on the north end, kind of right along West Side Highway. That's you kind of see the highway behind it.
They've been doing some, is this where they've been doing some work?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've got a little bit into it, but we have an emergency generator project right across the street. We
Okay.
own that land too and whatnot. Some quick history. Lexington Flood Control Zone District. Flood Control Zone District is the only district, diking district that is established by a vote of the Board of County Commissioners. There's no public vote associated with it. So
Really?
it was, Ponderosa was first established in 1972 to protect that little piece that you kind of see in that map. In 75, they realized that the rest was starting to be developed and established the Lexington district. And in 80, they joined them together. That happened to be 3 months after the eruption. So it was a quick move right after it. And in
Oh.
2003, we became the only flood control zone district that the residents elected to be governed by a board of supervisors. So that's, all the rest of them are governed by the BOCC. Some quick construction history. I'm not going to go through all these dates, but I thought some of them were interesting. The first dike was constructed in 47, even though the Ponderosa wasn't set up until 72. I've also noticed that the districts were established about the time that maintenance and operations started to come into play and needing money. So that's kind of where those came from. Our big pump station in McCorkle was constructed in 79. It is constructed so that 99% of the time gravity flows out. McCorkle Creek will just gravity into the river. When the river gets to a certain level, we close gates and the pumps operate whatnot. It was finished about 6 or 7 months before the eruption, and the pumps had not operated at that point in time. So with the raising of the river, it's become a little different story on it. It still only operates about 99% or about 1% of the time, but
What was what you see now, you know, the dike where people walk and the apartments and all that, was that in place before the mountain?
it was in place.
Okay,
But between 80 and 83, they raised it about 3 feet.
so they brought it up even higher.
Yep.
Yeah.
And added 3 new pump stations during that time as well. Around Beacon Hill, Pancratz, BPA, those ones. The district replaced the Sparks Drive pump station about the time the Lexington Bridge went in, and then reconstructed Ventura pump station to replace the very first pump station, Sierra. That one's been torn down. You can kind of see where it was at if you know where it was at, but other than that. It's interesting that Sierra pump station was 2 1,000 GPM pumps. Ventura is 3 2,700 GPM pumps. So a little bit of an upgrade. McCorkle has a total of about 160,000 GPM that they can pump out of there. Quick map of the district that's actually protected. This is not a full assessed area, but we end up with about 2.6 miles of levee, 5 pump stations with 6 pump stations with 15 pumps. There are 2 internal dikes. Those are the blue ones on the left-hand side. And then 1 detention structure, which is at the end of Sparks Drive. It's a dam, a soil dam that we are working on raising. I'll get into that a little bit. The red line through the middle of this is West Side Highway. West Side Highway on the southern portion serves as part of the levee. The district protects about 2,460 acres, about a population 2,500. 1,300 parcels, assessed value of $472 million. A fire station, the largest grade school in the state, that 3-story Lexington grade school. 2 electrical substations and Riverside Park. We have an operating budget of about $400,000. We tend to collect about 1.2 due to the capital projects that we have every year. Right now, we're holding reserves of about $1 million. That's been depleted recently due to some exorbitant construction skyrockets on us, and I'll get into that a little bit. Currently, annual assessments are about 63 cents per thousand in the upper zone, and that's a zone that's not protected, but sends water down into the lower zone that we have to take care of. And the lower zone that's actually protected is about 380 per thousand. Those vary, but that's where we try to keep them right around. Some of the projects we're working on, and this is the project that you alluded to. About 3 years ago in 21, we purchased 2 generators for $291,000 for the 2 pump houses at McCorkle. They had a 62-week lead time on them. We got them quickly at 58. And
Yeehaw.
we are currently in the middle of the project to install them. So they're building pad, they're taking the conduit and wire across the highway to the pump stations and installing some automatic transfer switches in there. So when power goes out, they'll automatically transfer over to their generator. We're hoping construction be complete around September.
Is this a replacement or did we not have backup power before?
We had backup power. They were on they were on semi trucks. So
Oh.
basically they were inside of a truck trailer and there's one of them
Okay,
still
I
sitting
got you.
down at
All right.
Tally Way. But that takes man power that could be doing something else. We've also learned that the traveling back and forth has not been real friendly on them. So,
Yeah.
although it has been handy in that other districts have been able to borrow them when necessary. So,
Mhm.
2 other projects that are on our horizon, but we're still trying to figure out how to pay for. They're the dike behind the school in Maxwell Farms at the end of Rainbow has some sloughing issues on it. And so we're working to design a fix to that before it erodes all the way through the dike. That would end up, during high water, that would end up flooding the school. That would be the low point. The school happens to be a low point in that area. The other one is Sparks Drive is our most critical flashy pump station. Whenever it goes down, we end up with water in Sparks Drive. So we are working, we've got a study that says the fix to that is a new pump station at the end of Cowlitz Drive. We've acquired the property, but last estimate we had was $20 million on that. And so we are working on some other higher priority stuff and going to work on getting the money for that as we get there. The project of our life. I think Brian even. First report that said we needed this done was in 2001. Another report in 2009 showed that we needed to raise the detention structure. Basically, as development occurred in Lexington, more runoff ran faster to the creek and McCorkle Creek Pump Station couldn't keep up. We looked at various options. Adding capacity at McCorkle Creek Pump Station, more pumps, more station, another house. We looked at putting a pipe from this, behind the existing detention structure over to Dorothy Lake. That one came in a close second and ultimately decided to raise the structure 13 feet. We ran into some permitting problems when Army Corps wouldn't even say yes or no to it, wouldn't tell us, wouldn't issue the permit, but wouldn't tell us what we needed to do to get it issued. And we literally had to go to.
Come on, Patrick, I'm sure that's not true.
Yeah, I know. What's really funny is.
Not with the Corps.
What I find very interesting, it's not funny, is that the one who would sign the permit literally lived in the shadow of the dam. So if it failed, they would be flooded. But we had to bring in legislative help. Jamie Herrera Butler leaned on the Corps. She was the Corps' liaison at that point, or controlled their budget, and we were able to get it finally approved. In the meantime, though, Oroville Dam happened, as well as Texas lost, a dozen smaller dams. That triggered a massive dam regulation rewrite and caused us some major redesign on a couple of our things. So now we have a dam holding our dam so that during earthquakes, it won't slide down and hit the houses. in 2017, received, original estimate for it was 5.4 million. So we went after a Public Works Trust Fund loan of 4.8 million. I believe Michael had to go up to legislature and lobby for that. We split the project into 3 pieces due to the complexity now from all the different dam safety. First was a preload of 1.1 in 2020. Phase 1 was completed in 2022 for 4.9 million. And now we're hoping to get the 3rd phase going to bid anytime now at an engineer's estimate of 12 million. If you add those together, you're almost to 20. That's a 4 times increase. We were fortunate enough to get another Public Works Trust Fund loan for 10 million. They understood the difficulties with construction costs. And so, yep, and that's the max they can give.
Do you face any, does it ever time out on you, or I guess I'm worried Army Corps can be a little bit difficult. Does their approval ever run out? You have to have it done by
Public
2030
Trust
or
Fund?
something like that?
I think so quite a while. The 2017 lasted till 2021 for us.
Okay,
So, but the 10 million, I think we're gonna be just fine. We're going to bid soon.
Okay.
So that one should be just fine.
In order to do this, we don't have to use the Army Corps if you're getting funding elsewhere, do we?
So the dam doesn't require Army Corps. The Army Corps is interested in the levees. But they do care that the dam's there so that you're not flooding the interior of your dike as well. So they don't look at the structure of the dam, but they do care that it's there. Does that make sense?
And what does their care mean?
Yeah,
So the permitting on this with Army Corps was wetland permitting.
Yes.
It was not the actual dam on itself. The physical dam was from Washington State Dam Safety. The Army Corps was the wetland permitting along McCorkle Creek itself. So we had to deal with the Army Corps for the wetlands, Fish and Wildlife because there's fish everywhere in the creek, and then Washington State Dam Safety for the physical dam. Plus it's under the BPA line, so you have to get a permit from BPA.
wow. We're all 3 shaking our head. Does this happen to bleed from when the mountain went and the Army Corps was kind of given authority over the whole corridor? Is that it, nothing to do with that? This is just normal business for them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Alaska Airlines and Southwest fly over above, don't we need permit? for
I
that?
would probably do.
Yeah,
We'll be getting a bill in the mail, I'm sure.
I don't doubt it.
I will say that we have 2 property owners behind the levee or behind this dam that when you flood, you need a flood easement. He cared about it for timber only, and you're only flooding for a week at a time tops, usually about 2 to 3 days. That won't harden trees. Worked with us, did some land trades, and it was not a real big deal. He's been real good to work with. One of the other frustrating parts of this is that we call it a detention structure, and that's because it sits empty. When we close the gate is when it fills up. It's not like a dam you see up Lewis River or anything like that hold water 100% of the time. This holds water. It's went over the spillway twice in its life. We've only closed the gate 4 times. So to have a flood event and a seismic event at the same time for what we've had to do is probably, I mean, you probably win the lottery 4 times before you end up with that. So it was a little frustrating. We don't argue. We did what we needed to do, but it was still.
Money.
Some of the.
Does any of this stuff help? And I forget the name of the roads. When you go into the old railroad trestle,
Oh, no,
those are
Nevada
two separate
and-
issues?
no.
Okay.
so where the dike is failing, right, where you said that it.
The sloughing?
The
Yes.
sloughing off. In that situation, is there like an emergency clause or something that we can utilize to say, hey, this is failing, Army Corps isn't issuing a permit because they found a trout in this river. I mean, whatever the reasoning is, if they fail to move and that goes and we have mass flooding, do we go to the federal government? I mean, what do we do in that situation?
If the dike gave way completely, we would have a lot, we'd be able to fix it without, I mean, we'd tell them we're fixing it. That's basically what the call would be. Hey, we had, the dike failed, we're fixing it. We'll figure it out afterwards. But up until the actual failure,
So it's all reactionary.
it's all reactionary.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever.
Yeah.
We've actually had conversations with them that we have a plan that if it does fail, what we're gonna do to fix it. I mean, we already have the design ready to go because the cost to fix it is $1 million. And literally, it's
How do we
reinforcing.
define if it fails? Because is it not failing now?
Failing is water coming through it.
You can stick your finger in the dike.
Steve, go out there and drive some sand deals or whatever.
Okay.
I just don't, know. It's crazy to me that they can take away our authority to handle a local issue and deal with it until it's too late.
And believe me, Brian and Michael and Lee and I have the same discussion nearly every month.
Yeah.
Right now, we're looking to go to bid on this. Dam safety has been short-staffed. Up until this point, they've been responding within days. We can't get a response from them to get final approval of our design. They've always told us up to this point that the design was great, one of the best that they've dealt with. So we're moving forward with bidding because we just need to go to bid. And once they come out of the field inspecting the dams that they have to inspect, they'll be able to talk to us. But we're going to make the decision next week on whether we want to take that risk or not. And to me, my recommendation to them is going to be take that risk.
To move forward without.
Move forward without official approval. I think we're tight enough on our specs and tight enough on our design that we're close, that we're dam safety. If they find something, it's gonna be minor. Just on this project, we did some special things due to the proximity to residents as well as just the impact we'd have on the area. It was split into multiple phases, so due to the complexity of it, as well as we were talking 120,000 yards of material being moved. That was a lot of impact to put on the neighbors. So we split into 3 pieces, preload so it could actually sit longer. And then phase 1 just brought it up to the existing level of the existing dam. And then phase 2 will take it to the 13 feet. And phase 1, we went out to the residences that were directly adjacent to the structure where we're vibrating, so we know we're going to have some impact. We paid for inspections of all the houses. We sent a structural engineer out there, what cracks existed, that kind of stuff. So that if something did happen, we would have documentation that we could just give it to the insurance company. We agree, see this documentation, pay them. That was our intent for it. They got a copy of it, we got a copy of it, trying to protect our residents and as much as possible. We also sent out postcards to everybody and direct letters directly to the people along Sparks Drive. With the amount of fill that's required for this, we were talking a truck about every 5 to 10 minutes coming down Sparks Drive for about 3 weeks. So we knew we were going to have an impact on the neighborhood, and we're going to do it again here at the beginning of next year. But we're trying to keep them informed and help as much as we can, because this is a necessary evil, unfortunately. The other thing was, and one thing we want to thank the board for, was we coordinated with VOCC to permit Cooks Ferry. And in exchange for spending the money to permit that, the dredge spoils are coming out for free for us. It ends up being about the same cost, but we both got benefit from that in our opinion. And it helps clear Cooks Ferry, which should help when dredging comes, which is one thing that we're interested in as well.
Yeah.
Pat, what's been your feedback with dealing with the citizens?
We've had a couple of excited citizens. I will say that our sheriff's department has been very helpful in talking to them. But the rest of them are understanding and cordial about it.
I think I can recall one call from somebody excited out there. But
Yeah. We had a restraining order against one of them for the contractor.
Wow.
So.
He's really excited.
Some of the concerns that we're facing is encroachments on the levee. That both these pictures are of the same cut. We had a contractor who thought he had permission to go to put a sewer line in. He didn't. And even if he did, a 20-foot wide gap in a levee is not a way you put a 12-foot or an 8-inch pipe in.
this is what he did?
That's what he did.
Oh, wow.
We spent almost $300,000 fixing it, after giving him multiple opportunities to fix it himself. And we are working with, our legal team to recoup those costs. One thing we've also learned is that mounds of dirt are not insurable. So, it's evident there was an impact.
So right now, this is just a cost to you guys.
This is just a cost to us. We were lucky enough that we had the funds to handle it. We were lucky enough, we worked with a contractor that came in at about half of what they originally estimated for us and just went in and did it and moved out. The other one you guys are very familiar with, the Cowlitz River sedimentation. We have a level of protection of 1 in 167 years. That's what we're required to keep. That's what Army Corps is required to maintain for us in the river. This is a slide from their latest presentation, which I believe I know Rick is familiar with it.
Yeah.
One thing they point out on, this is literally their slide, the decreasing level of protection of the Lexington levee since 2022. So the river is rising around us. We are at a choke point at Rocky Point, and that's where the sediment is building up. And we're also on the other, so on one side, we have sediment building up and river levels rising. On the other side, we have a development going in for 79, something like RV sites.
Oh, yeah, on the corner there.
Yeah. So, which was an old dredge spoil site. So.
That always makes me nervous, to be honest with you, on the old dredge
Yep.
spoils.
How much control do we have to work with that situation
With the
locally?
level of protection. Rick, do you have a response to that? This is a federal issue.
Yeah,
It's going to require some changes in congressional laws.
that's what they always refer to. You hear it called the WRDA, and I'm sure
Water Resources
it has
Development
a
Act.
big, long name, and I know our Representative Luce Camp Perez and Senator Murray and Senator Cantwell are all on board with having that change. It comes up in 2026. It's one of the things we have our Washington DC lobbyists work on too. And we've continued to talk with it, not just us, but the whole county is talking about, because that WRDA needs to change. Trying to broaden Army Corps, probably not get this totally right, from just flood control to silt migration. I think there's some,
Some to that effect. So
try and get it to the point where you could actually put a machine in.
Yeah. The only
And
time,
the port's working with us on that too. There's a lot of people working that way.
the only time Army Corps could legally dredge according to their current authorization is if the level of protections don't meet. Not if they're close, not if it looks like it has to break over that threshold. In the meantime, Port of Longview has to dredge nearly every year 2 of their bursts that this leaks into.
Yeah.
We are starting to see islands create erosion on both sides, that kind of stuff. So we'll work with our lobbyists and come up with some word or language to try to get into 27 that broadens them to allow them to consider other things that can trigger it.
Yeah, this is one of the things I was talking about where I think we should get together as a Cowlitz County as a whole, as city of Castle Rock, city of, all of us together, mayors, you know, commissioners, everybody, and say, this is ridiculous. You guys legislate it has to be this, we have to react, but then you guys don't give us the permit that we need to make what, I mean,
The discussion with,
circus.
the discussion with Representative Blusenkamp Perez was literally, what, you'd say 75% permitting?
Yeah.
Because permitting has to change in order for us to be able to do anything. And she understands that.
And she understands, is in on board with that, and I know the other two are too. It's the other.
Yeah.
Not everybody knows the Pacific Northwest, you know what I mean?
And we are the only mountain that has ash problems. I mean, even if you go to Hawaii and you have the volcanic activity, it doesn't come down as ash. It comes down as
No.
obsidian.
Well,
Lava.
Yeah, it's
my whole
different.
thought on it is, you know, Blusenkamp, Perez and Senate, Murray, and all, they can say what they want. They're not the ones that are living here that are gonna be affected by this. So I think it makes sense for us as a whole to say, hey, we're the ones that are living this. We're the ones that are gonna be affected. You guys are miles away, you know, sight unseen and unheard. You don't hear about this unless we say something about it. That's why I think we need to do something as a whole community to say, we can't stand for this anymore. It's not okay.
And I think my board would be right behind you on that and be happy. Yeah. I know that there is a coalition that's together to do some stuff, but absolutely.
Because Congress has known about this for a long time. The people that have been working at Mount St. Helens, dealing with the sediment have been able to do it for 40 years, and yet we're still here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Better to
There's
beg
nobody
for
left
it.
back there that
Yeah,
remembers
really.
the mountain,
Yeah.
you know?
well, I'm just saying, if we don't advocate for ourselves, they're not, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
The last slide is literally a picture from 96. One of the few areas.
96?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of the few areas that didn't really have leakage. I have pictures of Woodland with water behind it. I have pictures of South Kelso with water behind it. This one, you can see those residents are protected because this is what the district does.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, it is.
If you go back 2 slides to the 11th slide, what are the holes in the ground? Back one more.
Those were potholes for them to find a giant water line that was sitting right there too. Beacon
For them to
Hill,
find what?
there's a water line that's sitting there. So they
Okay.
needed to find the water line so they can not, so they could avoid the water line. Those were potholes.
So this was the guy laying the line, he dug those so he could know
So he could know where he needed to put his pipe.
so he could
Yeah, this was a
do
close,
more
and this was,
unapproved work on the levee.
this was a close coordination between Cowlitz County Public Works. We had an inspector on site. Beacon Hill Water Sewer District had an inspector on site. And then I was there quite often, but we use Cowlitz County Public Works inspector to also build some time to us on this. It happened to be Beacon Hill that spotted this, and I was in a board meeting with South Kelso and left immediately to come see this. They understand. Those supervisors don't understand when another district's got a hole in its levee. And that's, you could, literally you drove an excavator through it. So. And we're right next to a pump station. That pole is literally right next. You can't walk between the pump station and that pole. So we were right next to Ventura.
Lexington doesn't exist without the levees.
Correct.
No, it doesn't. Like Holland,
Yeah, exactly.
just
Yeah.
put in a windmill.
Well,
Did you guys have anything you'd like to add?
Just support too, I mean, a lot of times in the county, we've used a lot of county. But it's been very difficult to maintain a engineer. My friend, 2 years, but we probably had 7 different engineers in that time frame. Kind of been evolving course. So if there's anything you could do to help retain that staff, that would be appreciated. is tenured banking engineer. He's been fantastic, you know, the entire time. I appreciate his professionalism along the way, but we've had some who've been there for years. That's really disruptive for us, and we're trying to make long-term projects. As we demonstrated through this presentation, it costs us millions of dollars. Yes, that continuity through that process.
So the engineers are people we have here that
Me.
utilize, and it's you right now, yeah.
Basically, I act as a consultant to the
Okay.
districts. I'm Daikin manager, engineer/manager, depending on how you look at it, for 6 districts. There are 7 in the county.
For 6 districts,
Yeah.
you fill that role.
Yep.
Savannah Clement, Public Works. You know, when Patrick left us, thankfully he came back, but when he left us, you know, we were, you know,
We're all calling him names.
absolutely.
That's what I
But
heard.
yeah, you know, Susan had stepped into that role until we did hire another Daikin engineer, who unfortunately is no longer with us. But in that interim timeframe, we had met collectively as a staff to try to brainstorm like exactly what Brian said, the continuity, you know, the levee systems are very important from a public health and safety standpoint. And I think that we need to ensure that they're managed well. It's part of the reason I wanted them to come and speak to the board. So the board had the understanding and confidence of you know, and what a special resource they are, and being the only district that has supervisors that are elected. Aside from that, from a department standpoint, we were really brainstorming on what we could do to provide that continuity. And I had asked Susan again, from an organizational standpoint, do the Daikin districts need an engineer? How much engineering does Patrick do? Does Susan do? Are we looking more for like a project manager, an engineer technician who's an EIT who could come in and provide some facilitation, keep these contracts in order, you know, someone that we could maintain, retain long-term and maybe elevate eventually. And so I had talked to Mike, and I think it was Mike and Lee. I don't think Brian was there. Also talked to Patrick and Susan about that. And I think from what I understand, that was a favorable option in looking for some continuity moving forward with managing those Daikin districts, specifically Lexington, obviously. But so it has been a topic of conversation, you know, even with Patrick coming back on board. I think it'd be great for him to have a project manager to assist and help out on some of these large projects, because this is one area. We have several, as you mentioned, you know, that he's managing and juggling. So it might be something that comes up, you know, when we're talking personnel and budgets. I guess the good thing about it is it's a billable position. And by that, I mean, you know, they're billing their time to the districts that they're serving, and it's to the hour, to the 15-minute mark. So we do get reimbursed for that cost by the district. So it's not like a roads budget item.
Yeah. Well, in a lot of our community, Longview, all around, if we don't have the dikes and levees, I don't think Longview exists, does it?
No.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Here's a fun little fact for you. If you take, so Longview charges, well, currently charges less per thousand than any of my districts. And if you put all my districts' assessment together, it doesn't hit theirs. They collect more money than I do. Because they
Oh.
have bigger area and they have the
Because of the
industry.
area and stuff, yeah.
The Port of Longview is almost completely located within it, so. And that's where they're that's where they have the ability to keep a long-term Daikin manager over there, as well as, I think, a maintenance staff of 6 right now, so. I do have one other piece for you. It's a video that our last contractor put together. It's another marketing type of thing, but it's a cool video of the McCorkle structure being built, if you'd like to watch it.
Let me ask one last question
Yeah.
on this position you guys have talked about, or you kind of kicked around. It would work with all the districts, but it would be billed to them. So it's not really it's a cost, but it's a cost to the ratepayers?
Yeah, it would be a position within our budget, just like Patrick is currently, and how we manage that as we do it through project cost accounting and how we bill their time back to the district. So, and depending on the workload and how that position works moving forward, it would just be dependent on their time. I would imagine it would be 3/4 of their time. I would assume, not, that's just,
And as far as you know, all the districts would find this agreeable. They're willing to bear some of that cost for having the expertise.
They currently do.
yeah.
They currently, do.
Mhm.
They pay for my time that I work for them.
Okay,
It'd probably be less of a rate to
Yeah.
them, but more attention focused on them, right? Because we're removing that engineering aspect, I guess, to the Patrick's PE.
Yeah, so when I started, the districts had 1.5 to them, Ken Stone,
Mhm.
and then I helped with him. Since Ken Stone's passing, we haven't been able to really fill a position like that.
okay.
Commissioner Dahl's good. Oh. There you go. So the existing dam is that green part on the bottom. And then the residents that we were talking to, or you can see right on top and how close we are to them with our construction.
Which house is the restraining order?
I can point it out, but yeah, we all knew which one it was. So down the middle of the dam, you can see, could you play it again? It might actually flow better. You can see them do construction, a trench. So the dam has dredge spoils basically holding up the east side, but down the middle is impervious, special stuff we had to bring in all the way from Clatskanie. That it's not quite clay, but it's not quite bentonite. It was some very well suited stuff. Goes on the outside of a drain that carries it down and out instead of coming all the way through the dam. It's all this interesting new design stuff. So so when it's done, it'll sit 13 feet above that berm on the right.
Yeah, oh, it'd be 13 feet above that.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you get some snow, they'll be out there, right?
It is one thing, we do have problems keeping ATVs off of the site. They tend to come in through the power lines. So.
Wow, quite a project.
Anything else? You guys good? Okay.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it to us. That was interesting to see and learn about.
Appreciate the time. Anytime, and I appreciate Emily coming and learning too.
Were you just here to learn? Okay. I didn't want to miss you if you had something for us. Okay, we're all good then.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anything else, gentlemen? Okay. We're not in session again until next Wednesday. So you all have a great extended weekend.
Thanks.
We will adjourn.
I hope.